The following podcast contains strong language, graphic violence, tiger blood, and winning. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hold on, I gotta adjust the microphone.
Sit down, you stupid little nothing!
Four guys and a movie. Four guys and a movie. Donnie, Brian, Rob, and Joe reviewing movies for the show. Four guys and a movie.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Four Guys in a Movie podcast. We're the podcast about nerds, snacks, and all kinds of movies and good stuff. I totally flubbed that. My name is
You're Rob.
Clown Rob. Joining me are these other bitches.
Tony Wadler.
Cigarette lighter brick.
Your friendly neighborhood news anchor, Steve Horsegroovy.
And Chopper Joe.
And we watched The Chase from 94, right? 1994? That's
1994.
If I recall. Has anybody seen
Height
The
of the
Chase
Sheen
before?
era. I did, yes.
I have.
Yeah, I used to enjoy watching this movie, and I know I watched it once with Brian, and he had a good time too.
Okay, all right.
I think I saw it once free on like a free preview of HBO or
HIV?
Cinemax. Yeah, HIV. Cinemax or something like that. Not long after it came out.
I did not know that I had actually already seen this movie, or at least most of it, until I saw it last night.
Okay. Am I the only one that hasn't seen this?
Guess so.
Pretty standard, isn't it?
No, for me, it's pretty standard
Brick exists
Yeah, that's true.
to brick exists.
to make me seem more normal, I think, sometimes.
You're welcome, Rob.
Thank you.
Somebody's got to do it.
Sharon's been trying, bless her heart. Tony, what can you tell us about The Chase?
So yeah, you already mentioned from 1994, rated PG-13, directed by Adam Rifkin, who his most known thing is Detroit Rock City, but he's done a lot of, no surprise, I'm sure, weird things like The Invisible Maniac and
The Invisible Maniac.
Yeah, I believe Maniac
There's
Cop
some peanut butter ones in there,
Returns
too.
and The Dark Backward.
The
Yeah.
Dark Backward.
There-
That
Ron Jeremy was in that, too.
Yeah, that's
You might have been.
Well, the Dark Backward.
That would
Oh
be
no, that's a movie I would like to see.
LeBron
Brett watch.
Jeremy?
That
I'll
might
bet.
be
it'd be like the curd heth.
the what?
The Cheese
Saying
Cow.
it
I don't know.
backwards is the curd.
No, that's a movie
Kurt
where
Hat.
Judd Nelson is a shitty stand-up comedian who gains fame when he
That's not a sitcom.
throws a hand out of his back or an arm.
What?
All right.
Oh yeah, it's weird.
that'll
It's
do
fucking
it.
Weird.
I remember that Seinfeld episode.
But yeah, so yeah, on that topic though, Adam Rifkin tends to do, I think, a lot more like, besides Detroit Rock City, a lot more like cult following kind of movies, except for when he's writing, which is really weird because he wrote like the Underdog movie and Mouse Hunt.
Okay. Is Rifkin like a synonym for like some sort of ferret type animal?
Yes.
Gerbil with hypertension, perhaps?
But-
Now, I learned from someone at this table that ferrets and gerbils are totally different animals.
Yes.
One's a mustelid,
And you learned
and one's
from
a rodent.
4 people at this table and no one cares.
That guy cared. He corrected me, including myself.
Ferrets are they're like ferrets are bears, right? Or cats.
ferrets are weasels.
Yeah, but weasels are cats.
No.
They're in the cat family. Like,
No.
yeah, aren't they?
No.
No.
Not even close.
Are you seriously challenging him on this?
I am.
Trial by combat after the podcast.
All right.
But anyway,
He'll be too full of pizza and Klondike bars.
speaking of the Dark Backward, after it was deemed not commercially successful, And
Shocker.
Adam Rifkin, sorry.
Was taken outside and killed.
Yeah. No,
I'm sorry, euthanized.
Basically, he got a little disheartened by Hollywood, so he said, fuck it, and was like, I'm going to make this movie on little to no budget, and it's just going to be the dumbest action cliched shit that ever, and comment on, the state of, where media was and everything with all the news channels and everything. Well, the funny thing is, he's not wrong.
Yeah.
No.
3 months later, we got O.J. Simpson.
Yep.
So,
Maybe he was inspired.
I was
by
just
he
thinking
might
that,
have
yeah.
been. I don't know.
Never mind.
It's like, I'm going to blame it on a clown.
Never mind.
I think they storyboarded this movie in a spray fart on the wall.
So,
Wow.
wow.
Okay.
So,
That's how he came up with this podcast, too, to be fair.
interesting backstory.
News coverage of a spray fart.
Yeah.
Part B. I was reading up on Henry Rollins. So I don't know very much about him.
Bad idea.
Well, actually, he's an interesting person.
No, he's
Yeah.
interesting.
He's the most intense Renaissance man in the world.
So, in 91, he and a friend of his were the victim of a home burglary, and his friend was killed right next to him.
Oh.
And this movie was in 94, so this only happened 3 years after that. And apparently, the blood where his friend was shot, it was outside. So the blood fell on dirt, and he keeps that dirt with his blood on it in a jar and says hi to his friend in the morning and still has a cell phone.
I've got a jar of dirt. I've got a jar of dirt.
So
And his name was...
I can't remember.
Okay. Henry remembers.
He's
Well,
not
yeah.
sleeping with that jar.
No.
No, it's just sexual.
I'm sure
He
him,
just sticks his dick in it.
yeah, him and that jar have, been in the bedroom together while they've gone to town on a lady.
They've been biblical.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Also,
What do you call that
I
when you do
don't
with a jar?
also, interestingly enough, Henry Rollins has not been with a woman for 20 years.
Stable table?
Stable table. So,
Wait,
No.
just the last bit of trivia that I absolutely adored when I saw it was apparently 1 year at the Dublin Film Festival, this was accidentally shown instead of the Marlon Brando, The Chase.
well,
Fixed.
I honestly don't know which one I'd rather see again.
I haven't seen the other one, I don't think.
I did learn some trivia myself.
About-
Not about this film.
All right. So, unfortunately, no one wants to cough up actually how much this cost to make. But you want to guess how much it made?
Less.
I don't think I ever even remember this being in theaters. I'm gonna say it made like 10 million.
They got that sweet Image Comics money.
15.
I will say 20 million.
I was gonna go 15, but since Brick took it,
$1,500.
I'll cut under at 14.
Oh.
Got lower. It's $8 million.
Wow. Oh, we all overshot. That's funny because this movie has everyone in it,
Yeah,
but they're
this-
all cheap.
Not just necessarily they're cheap, but this is like that Adam Sandler style. This is his crew.
Yep.
Like they're all friends, so it's basically just like a, hey, want to do another movie with me? So I'm sure they were like, like Flea was like, I'll just show up. I don't, whatever.
They paid him in cocaine.
Honestly,
Who's crew? The director or
Director.
okay.
I think the entire soundtrack for Epitaph Records was just they had to buy just the CD they printed it on,
Yeah.
and that was basically it.
It was like the free sample CD at Hot Topic that week.
Also, this is kind of a reunion all-star cast for us.
Let's
while we're into that.
let's qualify the term all-star for a minute.
Well,
They are
for
stars.
movies we've watched. It's returning people from movies we watched.
Certainly
Yeah.
not
You want
A-listers.
to? Yeah, I didn't. I wasn't talking about the quality.
Yep.
Yeah, no, but most of these people have been on the podcast before.
I believe every one of them.
Yeah, we got Charlie Sheen as Jack Hammond, Jackson Hamden.
It's
Christy
John
Swanson as Natalie Voss. Had her the Phantom. I remember that.
Yep.
Henry Rollins. What was that? Johnny Mnemonic.
Yep.
Josh Mostel. I know I've seen him before, but I can't remember.
Anybody?
Gosh, I don't know.
Which
That's
character?
that's
The chubby cop?
yeah. Rollins' partner.
Oh, yeah, he's been in a ton of things. I don't remember what, though.
City Slickers.
As Officer Figus.
I
Wayne
wanted
Grace
to fight
as
this.
Chief Boyle. I know that guy's yelled at someone in some movie we've watched.
Yeah.
He might have been.
Let's say
was he
Gremlins.
He was in The Running Man.
Okay, yep.
Was he also the asshole older cop in Killer Clowns, or was that different?
It was a different guy, but same type of
Yeah.
actor.
We watched Running Man?
Or did we not?
No, we haven't yet. No.
Oh, yeah. I was
Oh,
gonna say.
my bad.
I remember seeing that. I'm like, was I absent that? No. It's not a thing that
That'd be
happens.
really hard.
In between movies I watch on my own and movies we watch for this and everything, like it's a fog.
No, I mean,
Rocky Carroll as Byron Wilder. And Ray Wise coming fresh off being a crazy possessed guy in Twin Peaks as Dalton Voss.
Also
Forgot
in,
somebody.
RoboCop.
Also in RoboCop, yeah. I forgot a bunch of people. Anthony Kiedis and Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Anthony Kiedis was in Point Break, which we watched.
wasn't Flea in Point Break as well?
I don't think so.
He had to be in. He's been in a lot of
Maybe.
like things, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
He's
He
got.
tends to show up.
He was in Monster House.
Sure.
Did that cover it, Brick, or is there someone else?
Carrie Elwes.
Oh, yeah. Carrie Elwes in here for a minute as anchor Steve Horsegroovy. A
You
name.
wish.
Yeah, they never say that last name, but it's in the credits.
That's one of those like weird director jokes, like the fucking that one in Fast and the Furious that upsets me that it's gone this far.
I don't have a crickets chirping. Thing.
Let's not forget Ron Jeremy, random camera guy.
No, but seriously, the guy in Fast and the Furious, his name's Han Solo.
Just,
Just go.
they have no shame.
Okay, I mean,
Still miss somebody.
I have to say, I have never been as
did we miss?
excited.
who did we miss?
I
Brick.
recognize somebody. Go
All
ahead,
right.
though, Joe.
No, you're gonna keep saying this, so yeah.
You
We've been
have
here
the
all
floor.
day, so
Claudia Christian.
Who?
Claudia Christian. Ivanova from Babylon 5.
Oh, what did she play?
She was Voss's new wife.
Okay.
okay.
Now in Babylon 5, does she have crazy makeup effects on?
Not really. She just
All right, well then you all
kills
fail.
people. Why did we all fail?
Not you. They did.
Yeah,
I didn't
not
watch
recognize her.
Babylon 5.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Let's not even.
I have never been so excited about a Fat Chat Test Kitchen. Normally, I'm like, can we skip this shit?
All right, Joe. Tell us. Tell the.
Well, no, it's your thing. You go.
This is actually it's a Brian thing.
This is a Brian.
This
thing.
all credit goes to him. So Brian, podcast member in a coma since before COVID, I guess.
Covidma.
See, I was
Yeah,
wondering why
Kevin-
we're all loading these up, and then I completely forgot.
Yeah.
We are out of Klondikes, unfortunately.
Oh, really?
I'm
There's.
not upset.
Oh, you ate one though?
I
right?
ate one
Okay.
because I saw everybody else eating them.
All right. Yeah.
He failed
I'm
to
not
notice
upset.
us assembling our
Yeah. Brian.
sandwiches.
Brian came up with a brilliant idea. He took fudge round sandwich cream cookies and placed betwixt them a Klondike bar. And we have replicated that at the table for you all. I, however, have gone. Joe went with a full peanut butter round.
Mm-hmm.
I have decided to do half and half.
John is full fudge.
I went
John
with
is
what Brian
full
had in
fudge,
his
yeah.
picture. Yeah, full fudged.
Oh, I didn't even think about all that.
This is gonna get messy.
Yeah, it's gonna be a problem.
Salute to Brian.
Brian.
Come back, Brian. We miss you.
My dainty woman bites made it so I didn't actually get
Yeah,
any
you got
cookie.
nothing.
Wow.
Oh, I mean, that's exactly what I thought it would be.
Oh, my teeth are so cold sensitive. God.
Yeah, that part kind of sucked.
All right.
Why was I born? Not as a woman.
This is just normal Klondike, right?
They can do stuff
so.
about that nowadays.
Well, they're Klondike crunches.
They're
They
extra
got crunchy
crunchy.
shit in the
Yeah, no,
good
but
bit.
like the peanut butter with it is kind of almost getting like a toffee type flavor.
It's toffee-ish, yeah, I'll give you that.
Oh.
So I was going to bring this up during the movie, but while we're stuffing our faces,
Why did we not
very-
have Butterfingers?
well, yeah, very early in this movie,
not a
a person
Butterfinger.
is taken hostage by a Butterfinger bar, pretending to be a gun. And I was thinking, is Butterfinger the ideal candy bar for that job?
It can be used as a weapon.
Yeah, I was thinking like, I mean, a Charleston Chew would have been better, but that would not have been anywhere near the counter.
Yeah, you could nibble a Charleston Chew with just some nunchucks, but still, if you suck off the end of that Butterfinger, you got like a razor blade
Well, you can sharpen a Butterfinger; it can hold an edge.
or a handicraft knife.
Yeah, you could ship someone with it.
Yeah, I mean, a Charleston Chew. I think if you just swing that, like that
Oh,
can
yeah,
go
that's
through a
one
man's
weapon.
skull.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You could put a guy in a hospital with that.
But that's the problem is later on, after it's a weapon,
Mm-hmm.
you might want to eat that Butterfinger. You don't want to eat that Charleston
No.
Chew.
No,
Wait, I mean, I should really save this for the patrons, but where do you guys rate Butterfinger? What kind of tier are we talking about here?
it's on the low side of passable for me.
Okay.
It's like,
The low side of pass.
yeah, it's in the Baby Ruth Butterfinger Nestle bar. Like that whole Nestle bag is like, this is okay candy, but I will take almost anything from Hershey's above it, or like I won't seek this candy out. But if it happens to be there, I'll eat it.
I would rather have a Nestle Crunch bar.
You know what, John? Nestle Crunch bar is a delicious clean slate bar.
That's what I'm saying.
Clean slate.
Yeah, it's like you can add things to it.
Oh.
It's inoffensive. I enjoy it.
For a crunchy candy
He's
bar.
defensive about it now.
Yeah, he automatically, because of you guys, assumes that
You hated it.
anybody talking about a Nestle Crunch bar is going to be shitting on it.
I've maintained all these years that I
fucking
still
love
think
Nestle
it's an
Crunch
okay
bars.
candy bar. It's just not
Yeah.
high rated for me. But
Yeah.
he takes that as
Also, to
I'm
to
saying it's
clarify,
shit.
Joe and Brian didn't have it high on their list. I only had it at mid tier, and he has taken great offense to that and is super defensive of it.
But
No,
I like the way
Nestle Crunch bars are the shit.
I like the way a Butterfinger tastes, but I don't like the fact that when I'm trying to chew it,
It's trying to kill you.
the stuff inside, yeah, well, it
Hey, you
turns
got
into
fillings,
diamonds
bitch?
in my teeth. Like,
Not anymore.
I don't want a candy bar where there's powder left over in my mouth.
That's from the your
Take
teeth
that,
having
fun
worn
dip.
down.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a combination of the whatever was inside there and my teeth being worn down.
I don't remember
Like
last time
elephants.
I had a
We're all dying.
Butterfinger, but I don't remember anything really good about it.
Yeah, I'm like borderline anti Butterfinger personally.
Okay.
Honestly though,
I used to like it.
if Charlie Sheen got caught, like if that clerk got wise and saw that like he only has a Butterfinger, like if Charlie Sheen slammed that shit on the counter, broke it in half, and pointed that at Kirsty Swanson's throat, cops still would have been like, "Whoa, okay,
Yeah.
all right," and they still would have like continued on with him taking her hostage.
They might have taken the shot, but it would still be a situation.
I was just thinking to myself, modern cops or 90s cops?
Oh, 90s cops. Modern cops would have shot him immediately.
Yeah.
Modern cops would have just been like, "He's got a Butterfinger." They've killed people for candy bars before.
Oh. I also have
Whoa.
ultimate cheddar Doritos.
Well.
And I have one other thing.
Oh, no.
Since we're already tangenting.
Can we comment on the status of what's going on? John is powerhouse through his. It's already eaten.
Don't bring it up, Joe. I'm embarrassed.
Tony and I are very far along on our journey through this thing. Rob has
using a
spoon.
I have always been notoriously slow at eating ice cream.
And a gentleman.
I guess so, yeah.
Well, it's
There's
not really
certain
gentlemen.
items Rob picks at him like a bird.
Somehow, his attempt to eat that as a civilized person
It's way
is
worse.
offensive.
Yeah, like your man card is in question right now.
And
Wait,
John's
please.
ability to just ram it into his face and devour it
That's
is
Reed's his
admired.
man.
Power
card.
through the pain.
Yeah.
We're gonna call 911. Henry Rollins, come over here.
He used the warmth of his hands to mold it into a tube shape and just put it down his throat.
It is full of white stuff.
He can easily disable his gag reflex.
No, that is absolutely untrue. I have a horribly strong
also-
gag rule.
I don't think
Oh,
it's brave
wow.
of you to give John ideas of what he could do to yours and you. But
Now
I also have cinnamon toast crunch cookies.
Oh my god!
that's very
So-
interesting.
Yeah.
I'm glad I only ate 5 pieces of pizza.
There you go.
Cinnamon toast. That's the thing that inspired me to try and make my own cereal.
Why?
but we don't have time.
Yeah, no, that's for another. We should just start a whole nother podcast for.
So, Joe,
I don't.
never mind. You already answered that question.
Huh?
What the hell is happening?
Well, we watched a movie.
Can I do like one of these there, John? Oh, that works. All right. Okay, let's get professional here, people. Rein it in.
Okay.
Good luck.
Let's talk
What,
about
year 4 now?
this cinematic treasure. We've been doing this for more than 4 years, haven't we? It's been a while.
It's like 7 years.
Yeah.
Oh, we're getting professional now.
In 28 minutes.
All right.
Like it's
Professional
2016,
by
I
our
think we
standards.
started.
So this movie starts with Charlie Sheen going to a store to get cigarettes. Riveting stuff. He drives up in a Volkswagen Rabbit, which I forgot existed.
So does the rest of the world.
Yeah.
He wanted the cops to forget that. it
Except
existed.
people that don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, my dad drove one of those for
Rabbit.
well over a decade.
Yeah. That
They had a couple.
looks less like a car that was imported from Germany as much as escaped from Germany.
Found it in
Rock,
Brazil.
rock, put the rest of these in your freezer.
If you can find room, absolutely.
Okay.
But anyway, so he comes in the store. He needs a pack of Marlboros. There's a Kirsty Swanson in there looking at magazines. This motherfucker gets $5 of gas in his Volkswagen Rabbit. Like, I'll be good. That'll make it to Mexico.
1994.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, how far we've come.
But do we even know that Mexico's where he was headed initially?
Yes. Well, we have an idea that was the idea.
All right.
They do say later that, he escaped prison and they heard that he might be heading to Mexico.
So he buys $5 of gas, cigarettes, and Chekhov's Butterfinger.
Yes.
And he slowly slides that thing in his back pocket.
And this clerk just fucking sucks.
He's ashamed.
He should be ashamed. He is. Oh, just the fact, the entire time, I was just like, "Why is this transaction not done yet?"
Yeah.
Why is this
I mean, that's when you're Charlie Sheen, and the cops are pulling up, which they begin to pull up. That's when you're just like, you keep the entirety of the change and walk away.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah.
Because Bowtie over there, he ain't gonna do anything, or at least anything effective. But no, he waits for this guy to break open a pack of nickels.
All over the damn
Yeah,
floor.
nickels are the hardest one to break open, and they are the most likely to go crazy on you when they do.
That's
But,
why I
like,
keep fingernails, so you can peel that shit open like a banana.
It takes even longer.
but-
can't decide?
yeah, it's not. Anyway, there's nickels all over the floor.
I will just. His real problem was he's trying to break it on the registered
On the
drawer
till.
instead of
Oh,
the
yeah.
actual
Yep.
fucking
Counter.
counter. Yeah,
Yeah, that's a problem. as
Bridge
well.
of the customer's nose in front of you.
or that.
So, yeah, the cops are here. They get a call over the radio about a Volkswagen Rabbit, and they look out the window, and there's one at the gas pump. And so they ask Charlie Sheen, they're like, "Is that yours?" And he's like, "No, I jogged here." And that's
John
when
Deere for cigarettes.
the clerk
He ain't jogging back.
the clerk sucks at everything, including covering for Charlie Sheen, because he's like, "There's your change for your gas on pump 1."
Yeah, for apparently no reason, I'm going to recite everything you just bought.
Yep.
Fuck you, guy.
And Charlie just freaks out, grabs a Christy Swanson, takes his Butterfinger, jams it in her back. And
I think that's where he
Haven't we
jammed
all
it.
had dreams like that?
And then he's just like, "All right, everybody get down," and has the cops take their guns out, and has the clerk kick them over to him.
Oh God.
And the clerk kicks them across the fucking store. It's actually impressive that with one motion he got both of them to go the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he's like, "No, kick them to me." So the guy runs to the other end of the store and kicks them back to the cops.
And the cops are like, okay, well.
I mean, dude can't open a roll of nickels with.
So he's like, "Hand me the guns." So he does. Now Charlie Sheen has an actual gun. Takes Christy Swanson, takes her outside, sees the BMW, and is like, "We're taking that." Shoots out the cops' tires, and we're away.
But no, the reliable Volkswagen. That was a Volkswagen crying out.
I think that is a Volkswagen commercial somewhere where someone is choosing a German BMW over the Volkswagen.
But we named them after fluffy animals.
Fun fact, Volkswagen is people's car.
Yes. The folks.
Volkswagen.
So
It was made by Hitler.
Yeah, that too.
Yep.
so Christy Swanson has barely had a line
Yep.
yet.
She screamed.
Before we get acting caliber into the equation right now, what are we scale of 1 to 10 on Christy Swanson?
Sorry, $100 bucks. Damn good.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Damn good is not a numerical.
Oh,
Solid.
Yeah.
10 out of 10?
Yeah. I mean, to me, like, Christy Swanson's like a 9. In this movie, she's dragged down a little bit by
Yeah, I
I don't
was
like
gonna
what
say
she's
8.5.
wearing. But,
Myself?
yeah. I mean, I think by default, I give her a 9.
That sounds alright.
Yeah.
Different respect levels for her acting ability, but she is a very attractive lady.
And this is right around the Buffy era.
Mm-hmm.
She was in Buffy?
She was
Buffy movie.
Oh, in the movie. Okay.
It was the original Buffy.
So, we after that action-packed opener, we cut to Henry Rollins and this kind of chubby guy in a car with a cameraman and this documentarian doing some kind of cop show. And you're like, nothing good is going to come out of this car.
What you gonna do while we interview
And
you?
they get the call that there's a chase in progress, a BMW running away with a hostage. And they're like, "That's us. Let's go get a bad guy." Which is unfortunate that the call comes in when it does, because they were talking about what's the worst thing you've ever seen. And first, they're talking about a bus full of seniors that went off a cliff. And then they're like, "Oh, but those kids." And you're like, I kind of want to hear what happened to them.
Yeah.
But we don't get to, because we're like a running...
know.
They had a busload of seniors off the road.
Well, not the British children. No, I
Yeah,
got
George
the-
Washington pushed him off the cliff.
I got the impression that they were just, well, I think Henry Rollins' character was just hallucinating glory. The other guy was just bullshitting glory for whatever show it was. Like, I don't think those things were actually worth telling.
But there's a couple times in this movie where I'm like, I want to hear what the next part of the conversation these cops are going to have is, but we cut away.
You're
Yeah.
not psychic, though. You're not
Yeah.
a prophet.
No, Henry Rollins does have a telepathy.
Yeah.
So does a few people in this movie claim to have telepathy, come to think of it. But anyway, so now they're in pursuit. Now we have a chase on our hands. It's a chase.
We have Mad Max
Fury Road, this is not.
ADHD Road.
But I have to say, the chase scenes, while they were filmed a little too close for my liking, I thought they were pretty good. Like, there was some nice action in this early part. I don't know why he's like, I gotta drive through a football game right now.
Why not?
But he does.
Because it's the time.
Yeah. And Christy Swanson brings up a good point early on where she's like, why do you have to drive so fast? And he's like, are you mad? We're driving, it's a police chase. You have to drive fast. It's like, you really don't.
No.
Like, as long as you don't stop. Like,
I mean, you can't go slowly enough that they can get out on front. And
yeah, I mean, you can't let them go in front of you, but like.
I don't want to encourage bad stuff, but the slower you go, the safer it is to
Take
perform maneuvers.
and prepare for wherever you're going.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
And have
technically-
sex.
And definitely have
And
sex.
have sex.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like riding a bicycle. If you're going fast enough, the car just goes in a straight line.
That is going to
Until they pit you.
be the hardest things I had to get over in this movie is when we keep talking about this being a high-speed car chase. And every time, certainly when you're on the outside, like seen from the helicopter, whatever it is, but when you're in that car,
it is
they're
not.
going real slow, and they're acting like they're going 30 miles an hour. Where they're just taking their hands off the wheel. We're dancing, we're singing, we're having a good time, whatever. Like, no. That's not how that shit works.
All right, so
Like them out.
Henry Rollins points out that it's important to maintain a minimum of vehicular intercourse. That will come into play later in the film. In different ways than you think.
To be fair, there was a thing that my driver instructor used to refer to as squeeze play. So
Yeah. No, I mean, you don't want to end up with a situation like the cover of Aerosmith's Pump, which I believe is just two pickup trucks fucking.
Yeah, it is.
You don't want to end up like
a classic.
Metallica's Load either.
That too. Give me fuel, give me fire, give me that. All right, so they're driving along, and Henry Rollins also at this point talks about how much he loves the respect and power granted to him by being a cop. And I'm like, oh,
He's one of those
okay,
guys.
you're one of those cops.
Oh, he gets worse over time, progressively. Or regressively.
And now Christy Swanson, whose only lines this part, I mean, thus far in the movie, have really just been like,
I'm okay with it.
yeah. Charlie Sheen's
into
like,
that?
shut up. And she's like, I'm not feeling good. He's like, stick your head out the window. So she's wearing this big old hat that just sails away, hits the
Into the
cop
police
car in front of him, as everything that leaves this car will do. And then she's not looking so good. She's gonna puke, and fucking like a guar level.
Vomits her body weight.
Yeah.
But then
Like,
the diarrhea hits.
And directly on this windshield.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
It
An explosion.
covers the whole windshield.
And
Looks
even,
like diarrhea.
even coat of chum.
I mean, you know what? That's exactly what it looks like, chum.
And like, there's a good 2 or 3 second period where Henry Rollins is like, I can't see. And you're just like, the windshield wipers, you asshole. It takes him way too long to remember
I'm
that.
like, if that's what we're dealing with, just crash the car.
Yeah.
I believe, speaking of crashing, I believe this is also around the part where we're reminded heavily that this is a 90s movie with the Ultraverse. I believe is what you were
Yes.
saying
Yeah.
What?
Is that Image Comics?
No, that's Ultraverse was its own thing. It wasn't Image. I don't believe.
I don't know what we're talking about.
On the back of the bus.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there was like a comic book guy.
Yeah, it was from Ultra Force, which had like, it was really interesting ideas.
Wasn't he
that
like
never
Captain
got more-
Prime or something like that? Like
something like that. I don't remember all. I know the big guy is kind of like a Superman Shazam thing. I believe that one might even predated the young Shazam, where it was a kid that turned into this big muscular dude, and there was another guy who was just dead and could fall apart. And
It wasn't
stuff.
always a kid?
I fall apart.
Huh?
It wasn't always a kid that
I
could be
mean,
Shazam?
Yeah.
I don't believe so. Or maybe.
It
I
would
don't
be
know anything.
entertaining if there was a guy in a nursing home and he just became Shazam and he was like, I'm young again.
It could happen.
So, back in this movie,
That would be more entertaining than the
one of-
Shazam movies.
One of the many times in this film where I wanted to see what was happening or what is about to happen with like a group of actors who are not the main characters. We cut to the police station and this like sycophant of a officer goes to talk to the chief who's yelling at this this girl officer who's crying and he's like, I do not run a shoot first, ask questions later
And
police
he's on,
department.
he's on a recumbent bike as well.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of the cookies?
That is amazing.
Like amazing first bite,
They're
cinnamon
fine.
toast crunch, amazing. Aftertaste was a little
Yeah.
much for me.
I think John wants to try the Dorito.
I was initially disappointed when I saw that there weren't chocolate chips in it, but then I was like, no, I could eat that entire package.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, I'd still eat
I
them.
think
Yeah.
they're good, and yeah, I wonder if it might not have worked better if it wasn't soft batch. But
I
like
would
soft batch. So.
Oh, that would.
I would take them over regular Chips Ahoy, but I like chewy Chips Ahoy
Yeah, I
the
don't.
best.
Oh yeah. But I just mean like that might be why it had a bit more.
Yeah.
Is the
Yeah, soft batch does
soft
have a
batch and,
little weird thing going on there. Anyway, so I don't know what this girl did that like apparently she shot someone before asking proper questions.
Are
But-
you dead?
Like he's handling that disciplinary action on an incumbent bike with the door open, so it couldn't have been that bad.
So, the Doritos.
Are on another level.
We're not getting through this movie.
No,
Nah.
I mean this will be the last thing until I think of something else. Ultimate cheddar Doritos.
The last thing until the next thing.
Yep.
I mean,
That was the.
He's not
ultimate
wrong.
line of
John,
this
what do you think?
podcast.
It's like a Dorito
but with
Try
something
one.
missing, right?
if you take all the other spices out of it except for the cheese.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a worse Dorito.
yeah.
That's an objectively like it's not.
It's not bad.
It's not bad.
It's not bad.
I'll
Still
still
gonna,
eat it.
yeah,
Yeah.
still an
Give me a
easy
regular Dorito.
But that's just an objectively worse Dorito.
So it's a downgrade.
yeah.
It's like a Dorito missing parts.
thing. It's exactly what it is.
So what you're telling me is a couple months ago, they took the Doritos Lays, and they took all the Doritos spice and put them on the Lays and took them from these.
Or I'm saying, like, at the factory, the guy that presses button 2 died. Like, the guy, like button 1 guy just puts the cheese on, and then the button 2 guy just puts the other flecks of stuff on.
Yeah, this is.
He's out on COVID.
He's dead.
What I will say,
Died
whoever
on the
puts the
floor.
cheese on was like, oh fuck, that guy's not here, and like gave him another shot. I think.
Yeah, he's
No,
like, I can't push that guy's button, so I'll push my button twice.
But it's not even more cheese than the normal cheese.
No.
No, I think it is. I mean, it's not saying much because they're not.
Well, it's a
super
different
cheesy.
cheese.
Or that.
It's a it's,
Yeah,
it's
that's
very.
just-
It's not very cheddary either.
No.
It's like putting mild cheddar on eggs. Like, why? Why
This
bother?
is like a corn chip that's slightly cheese flavored, and it's
I
just
believe
boring.
that is exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Uh huh.
No, yeah, I think Rob summed it up the best just now. It's mild cheddar on eggs.
All right.
Why?
So shoot first, ask questions later.
Yeah.
What did this lady cop do?
Who knows?
But she's crying.
Yeah. I bet someone else is crying because of her actions as well.
She was driving that PMS truck, if you know what I mean.
So we'll get to the PMS truck. So someone, I mean, this like sycophant police officer comes up to the chief, and guess what? The chief's character trait is he yells at everyone.
Which I would pronounce
Where have I
elephant.
seen that before?
Sitcoms.
So
But the good ones.
And movies
It's
and
like-
TV and yeah.
the girl's been kidnapped as Natalie Voss. We're like, uh-oh, Natalie Voss. Everyone's freaking out, but we don't know why. And then he's like, oh, because Dalton Voss, he's like the Trump of California. So you're immediately like, well, fuck him. And that's basically how the movie treats him, too. So now, actually, we cut to Rocky Carroll off the set of Rock in his traffic copter, watching the freeway. He notices the chase, and he's like, oh, that looks like ratings. Let's follow that.
You know, that's an interesting thing that I just thought of. I wonder if Ivanka Trump has ever actually been in the front of a car. If she's just always been escorted around in a limo.
Don't have time.
Yeah, I don't know. So, now the chase is on TV and the crazy news cycle starts. And the first thing they get to see is the PMS truck.
Well, they're doing like a traffic newscast thing, and they're
Yeah.
just like, oh, wait, something more interesting.
Yeah. Like
So-
everything seems fine until, oh, wait.
Yeah, this will get us ratings. Let's hype this up. So the PMS truck immediately begins to swerve from a Charlie Sheen driving by with, real fast.
Cuts it off. Yeah.
Cuts it off. So it's swerving back and forth, which of course causes a truck's door to open.
Spilling PMS everywhere.
And PMS was what medical school?
I think it was Pacific Medical School.
Polyamorous
Mm-hmm.
medical school.
Either way,
I think Ron Jeremy was in that.
Let the bodies hit
Yeah,
the floor.
let
Let
the
the bodies hit the floor.
cadavers come launching out of this thing. I mean, and this looks like it was packed like the warehouse truck from my job, where these were at one point stacked, but this isn't the first time this truck's been swerving all over the place.
Yeah, they're not in boxes. They're
Nope.
they're just like shrink wrapped.
Well, boxes
Yeah.
would take up too much space.
Yeah,
So they were actually compression fit into the vehicle. So as soon as the doors were open, they were like spring loaded.
Well, now it's fine.
so
I have to say that this was the turning point for the movie for me. Because I didn't remember. I don't remember any of this. I did
Yep.
see it ages ago, and I don't remember shit. But and I hadn't done the research yet to find out that this was intentionally all like cliches and shit on the media. But at this point, it really hit me, and I was just like, oh, "Okay, we're not serious. This is
No.
just nonsense." All right. And I let it wash over me, and it worked so much better.
Like a bucket of chum.
Like a bucket of jam.
So I would criticize this officer, but this is probably what I would do too. A body just slams on the hood of Henry Rollins' police car.
And stays there.
Yeah, there's just a dude staring at them, this dead guy. So the other officer leans out the window and just starts beating it with his nightstick. Like, I'll show that guy. But more impressively, he lifts it off with just a nightstick. Like,
Yeah.
it's got some impressive wrist strength there.
Well,
Like it was a tissue.
Yeah.
those bigger guys.
Yep.
It was all muscle.
He's been exercising his wrists and his forearms quite a bit.
So now some other cars have joined the chase too. So it's not just Henry Rollins chasing
He's
him
got to
anymore.
use it while he hasn't sat on his balls yet.
So, now we get more arguing between Natalie and we still don't know Charlie Sheen's character's name. So I still have in my notes as Sheen. But basically she's like, guns scare me. You're also terrible with that thing. It's gone off a couple times accidentally. So can you like put that away? Oh, she's already at this point. She's burned him with the cigarette lighter
Oh yeah, we skipped that.
Pretty
and
much exact.
No.
like
and then
my
dropped it
wedding
in
night.
his. Yeah, no, that's happened already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
That was
Yeah.
before he put
Yeah.
the gun away.
It happens pretty
Happened
early on.
fairly early.
Oh yeah, it's like shortly after she gets in the car.
It's right as Henry Rollins pulls up behind him, she does it.
I
It's
mean,
it's almost like, well, if I'm going to die, I might as well be the one to cause the accident.
I'm not
Just
one
gonna
for
burn the
violence,
guy.
particularly against women. But
Don't go to crime scene under
some lady burns me in the neck with a cigarette, car cigarette lighter. She's getting pistol whipped.
I mean, I'm pretty sure it's self-defense at that point. You don't have to.
Well,
Or her arm broken.
because she held it to his neck
she
for
stuck
like
it
10
in his
seconds.
neck and
Wait.
Yeah.
Okay.
Self-defense for who in that scenario?
But so I'm assuming that in this scenario, John has not kidnapped this woman.
Oh no! Even if,
Oh, okay.
even
Why
if I
would you
kidnapped
assume
her,
that?
Yeah.
All right. What candy bar would you use to kidnap her, though?
Ho-hos.
What is happening?
That was like 6 months.
I mean, if I had the luxury of choosing one,
I took
I think I would either go with like Joe said, the Charleston Chew. That definitely has the feel of a Glock.
We're pretending this is a world where John not only has kidnapped someone, but this is a world where he's more likely to have a candy bar in his back pocket than a gun or a knife.
That's exactly the movie we just watched. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
but that's not John.
Didn't they
So
make like a
neither
Tootsie
is
Roll bar at
kidnapping a
one
woman.
point?
They did. Yeah, actually, that
yeah.
would have been
That we
around
know
in
of.
'94.
Yeah.
And that thing was rock hard.
And
The
round.
Tootsie Roll bar and round. Yeah.
Jumbo.
So it would definitely
So,
give
I
the
was
feel.
thinking-
I have
Jumbo
actually,
candy
I've
canes.
actually emulated this movie, and held someone up with a
Should you be
With a-
saying this
Rob's
on
getting
air?
more and more right.
with a permanent marker.
And aroused. John,
And
don't say anything like that's going to be admissible in court.
Another slight issue with getting apparently.
yeah.
No actual crimes were committed.
Not even the computer wants to talk about this movie.
Oh, yeah. What? The computer. All right.
It decided shutting off and going beep was a better use of its time listening to
Oh,
us.
come on. It got through garbage pail, kids. This should not be a problem.
I know what happened now.
can't
It was
start
trying
the car.
to bleep out John from
Yeah, that's true.
self-incriminating.
John, my computer loves you.
Plead the fifth.
All right, what was even happening? They were arguing about putting away a gun, and then we started talking about John
The real reason
faking
he's
guns.
If a woman
Oh,
shoved
burned him
a
with cigarette
burning
lighter.
cigarette, car cigarette lighter
Yeah, punch
into
her
my
right in
neck.
the tit. Like- no, she was holding it there. It wasn't even like
she
a,
shoved it right in there.
Yeah, it wasn't even like a poke. Like it was like she jabbed it in there and held
I mean,
it there.
it was
for-
it was well deserved. He
Yeah.
did kidnap her, was
Yeah,
waving a gun at her.
no,
but,
but-
I'm just saying, reflexively, if someone
Yes.
did that to me,
I get it.
woman or not,
like,
they're getting
technically-
pistol whipped.
Was
Flicker in
it
the
all
beam.
deserved because it also damages her survivability to
Yeah.
to jab
No.
the driver
No.
with a... No.
They tell you never go to crime scene number 2. If they get in your car or whatever, try and crash the car because you have a better chance of surviving the car than you do.
They do
with
tell
them
you about that.
and a
Yeah.
gun somewhere else.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um.
They'll never find that body.
Tony has researched this, the number of times he's had to ride in a car with you.
That's
That
a
is
good idea.
correct.
That's,
I mean, literally.
Do you remember how many times I asked if you had a cigarette lighter?
Yeah. Every
Now you know
Friday
why.
ends with Brick taking Tony to crime scene number 2.
Which is Tony's house.
Yes, that is 100% accurate.
It is a
Yeah.
crime
Pretty
scene
much anywhere they go is crime scene number 2.
against nature.
No,
gives me so
Sometimes
many
it's not the
ideas.
location.
if somebody is causing an excruciating burn to me, I don't
Taco
care if they're the queen of Taco Bell. I'll punch them right in the tit because, like, I just want that shit to stop.
You should.
Like, it's just
She's
out
into
of
that.
primal reflex. I'm gonna punch someone.
Well, I'd like to say thank you and farewell to our female listeners.
That's right. If
We
you're
appreciate you while you lasted.
if you're the queen of Taco Bell, you get punched in the tit.
Yeah.
Your
Now, I will also
clitoris
point out,
grows to 3 inches.
I would like to think that I'm never doing anything that would put a woman in a scenario where they feel they have to burn me with a cigarette lighter to get me to stop.
I don't think y'all have lived.
I guess not.
Yeah, I know I haven't. That's fine.
Yeah. So,
Anyway.
all right, they're arguing about the gun. He puts the gun away, so now he's not waving a gun everywhere all
He
the time.
tucks
while
the
they're
gun
talking.
under his balls. and
Which
I'm
is
like,
that's not a good plan.
Oh,
no,
yeah.
I thought that, and the way it showed it, I assumed it was coming back.
I'm like,
Me
what's
too.
what's in the little like map glove holder thingy on the side, like on the driver's side door? What's
Well,
in that?
Actually, consider this.
Yeah.
After he gets the cigarette lighter out of his neck hole,
Uh-huh.
drops it in his groin.
Yep.
So what if it burned a gun-shaped hole
It burnt.
in the seat? And he was like, I'm just going to put it in this new cubby hole that
Or-
happens to be between my legs.
Maybe he was just like, I like the feel of the cold steel against my now burnt balls.
Practicing
That could
for
be
prison.
it. Yeah, actually, my
Yeah.
balls are pretty charred.
Yeah.
Or, it discharges and he Tupacs himself.
No, I speak from experience. It takes some effort
Rob, that's
for
not your
bullets to
wife.
just explode.
Go home. Anyway,
Even if
So-
you put them in gasoline and light it on fire.
so he finds out now that she's Natalie Voss, her dad's Dalton Voss, and everyone's
John
going
Wick.
to just automatically assume that he kidnapped her specifically to get a ransom.
All right. What do you think is a better movie? If instead of what's his name, Voss, instead of his daughter, it's Taken's daughter.
Mm-hmm.
or John Wick's daughter? What do you think?
All
Either
of
way, it's
LA
not going to
would
be a long
killed.
movie.
Well, all right. So here's the thing. I guess Taken. I don't know how he does in vehicles. Like we've seen him in a car chase, but not really like a proper.
I don't
I
like my
remember-
odds in that one, just because like the amount of edit shots we got of him climbing a fence. If it's him jumping onto another car, I would throw up.
Yeah, I think Liam Neeson, if I
Bucketed
remember
chode.
right, in Taken, he just kind of crashed into a lot of things.
He did, yeah.
Like, but I think that'll help end this chase.
That's fair.
That would be an interesting, like,
And-
kind of Alien versus Predator. It's John Wick versus the character from Taken.
And John Wick, yeah, I imagine that would be like.
They both took something that the other
Yeah.
one loved.
I'm pretty fully on John Wick.
I think John
Yeah.
Wick's got
The
it.
problem, the problem there is if this was John Wick, if it was his daughter, you'd get most of the movie until he just showed up from the back seat and killed him. That would be the movie. Like, it would just be done.
All right, same actors, different characters. What about Johnny Utah versus Darkman?
Oh, Darkman.
Who the hell is
Sure.
Darkman?
Oh yeah, that's one we gotta watch.
Yeah.
All right. So anyway,
Johnny Mnemonic versus.
Max Headroom.
watch out, he's got a
Sure.
doubler.
I got.
Sir Gawain from Excalibur.
Oh, Jesus. I like my odds against Sir Gawain. Like,
Yeah, he
like-
did kind of suck.
Well, also, you got a horse and I'm in a car. Yeah, fuck, give it a try, buddy.
Anyway, so now Dalton Voss shows up at the police station and he's pissed. He's yelling at everyone. They go to the crime lab and get a picture of Charlie Sheen as the red-nosed robber. We find out his name is Jackson Hammond.
He had
looks-
some amazing 70s, like,
He, looks
Yeah.
like, he
facial
just looks
hair.
like Weird Al.
I don't know.
Let's be real.
And like we learned that that he was a convict that escaped yesterday, and Dalton Voss is like, he got out yesterday and you did nothing. And the chief's like, yo, he could be going anywhere. We're not mind readers. He's like, well, I'm a mind reader, and I'll kill you if something bad happens to my daughter or something. And you're just like,
got
all right,
powers."
calm down, man. You know,
I would have been like, if you're a mind reader, why the fuck didn't you warn us that this was going to happen?
so now the cops
It
are
was a
like,
test.
the chase is on the freeway now, and the cops are like, check this out. We'll box him in. You know, we got 3 cop cars now, one on each side, one in the back, and we'll have someone drive up on the driver's side with a fucking shotgun. Because
That'll end well.
this is a good way to handle a hostage situation.
Absolutely.
They call it the negotiators.
Yeah.
It's fine.
So Charlie Sheen pulls out the handgun, like he doesn't know what he's gonna do, but he's waving that around, goes over the biggest bump in a freeway. Like it was like a fucking boulder.
It wasn't a bump. It was just straight up a rock. It was
Yeah.
just
A
on-
rock that was like at least half the size of the tire.
Now,
Yeah.
yeah, that
now
would have
as,
flipped
as,
his car.
as unexpected as this may seem,
Yep.
that has actually happened to my family when we were coming back from vacation.
Please be
And
surprised.
we hit this gigantic freaking rock, blew out
Turtle.
the tire.
Mm.
Somebody
Accidentally
else had
shot up a
also
gun.
already hit the
Yeah.
tire. They were
Innocent
pulled
turtle.
over. It sucked. The
So-
police thought that somebody was throwing rocks into the
Sasquatch.
freeway. So it was like 91 or something like that.
It was a really ornery
95.
beaver trying to dam the road. But anyway, so he shoots the tire out of the cop car. Cop car spins out, gets hit by a fucking truck, and goes flying. It's a pretty cool crash there. But it's also at this point now means that Charlie Sheen's going to prison like forever.
Yeah,
if he
correct.
stops.
He just killed like 3
Yeah.
people.
Yeah, they play it off like the cops aren't hurt. It's like, no, everyone involved in that just
They're
died.
dead. Like
Just died.
every bone is broken.
Yeah. That cop with the shotgun was not wearing his seatbelt.
Yeah.
He's lucky if he's even in the vehicle when it crashed.
Shotgun probably got lodged in the
He's still
back
in
of
one
his.
piece.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
He went down the rest of that highway at 90 miles an
Yeah.
hour. He doesn't have a face anymore.
It looks like he had a date with
It's
Lizzie
possible
Borden.
his legs are still in the car.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But yeah,
probably one
that's-
of them or most of both of them. We'll see. I don't know.
Yeah.
But that is the thing, like, again, we're going for every cliche. We'll see more when Flea shows up, but yeah, just every
Felicia.
every little like hit. If you're not a main character, you're flipping like 50 times and exploding. And...
But I did like the news commentary on this, because this is like what they do. They're like,
Holy moly,
well, he
this
must
is
have sharpshooter
unbelievable.
training.
Yeah.
Some sort of military guy. And like, because that has to
Possibly
be
a
it.
Marine.
Look at the cock.
Well, that's what they're like. Can you pull the traffic copter, maybe alongside so we can see his dick? I bet it's huge.
It's probably out.
It's got 30 goddamn dicks on it.
I know I'd
Not
do that.
yet.
Well, I know what I would do if I stole a car.
So,
Dick
I know what
out.
I would do if I stole Christy Swanson.
Highway, dick out.
all right. So now there's a car phone in the car. And the cops get the car phone number. So they call Hammond. And they're like, how about you pull over? He's like, how about
He
no?
says, Mr. Hammond, the phones are working.
And what I don't get with Hammond, though, is I would be like, okay, how about you overturn my conviction and set me free, or get me a new trial where the evidence
Joe.
that's not admissible.
Those are in written movies, my
Yeah.
friend.
Well, also, I think you're missing the whole thing of he knows these are all empty
Yeah.
promises.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause
Yeah.
Even in those cases, that doesn't happen.
Yeah, I'd at least point that out and be like, if you could do all that, I'll let her go.
But I know you're not.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna.
So then, like, Dalton Voss gets on the radio and he's like, what do you want, ransom? I'll give you some money. I'll give you $50,000 for my daughter. And he's like, you're a fucking billionaire. That is pathetic.
Yep.
And now, like, we see Natalie is like, damn, Dad, like, you suck. And, it breaks down into, like, a family squabble. And, like, it's not even about Hammond anymore. He's like, yo, stop talking to your daughter like that. She's in trauma. She's having a crisis right now and doesn't need this shit. And just, like, hangs up. And Natalie's like, this guy's pretty cool.
Nobody talks to my daddy that way.
Yeah. And he's like, well, because everybody wants something from your dad.
Can I call you daddy?
Yeah.
So now more cops show up. The news is now like terror on the freeway. There's like a picture of Natalie and like jail bars and
They
like blood
photoshopped
coming from the font.
That was later.
Oh.
It gets... Because this is also one of the things I know, because I had to see this twice in a short period of time, but like, they all get increasingly worse. Like, even just the stations is, Channel 8, like an 8-ball. And by the end of it, it's like I think it was hardcore news with like a fist with a microphone punching through the side.
I didn't
watching
notice
you.
that.
There's a guy.
The We Are Watching You, whatever station that was, 17, I think.
This guy
With
making
just,
out with a Sibian as well.
terrible looking eyes looming over the city.
So now also on the news now we see Jack's attorney, Ari, notices that Jack is running for the border with a hostage. He's like, oh no.
Bad, Jack. Bad.
So now,
But don't worry, I'll inexplicably cheer for you later.
Well, he wasn't on camera.
yeah.
He always
He was. I saw him.
Well, no, but not on the news camera.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
he's always in support of this guy.
Yeah.
And it's just at the end when he's like, well, fuck it. You made it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Okay.
I mean,
So
It's still a stupid idea, but yeah, you
as
did it.
cliche as it is to like,
yeah, all you've done
hate
now
on
is actually
attorneys.
break the law.
I'm sure there are multiple occasions where attorneys are like, I know my client is innocent and I know they're going to end up going to jail, and I would love to do something illegal to fix that because
But he
that is
should go
pissing
to
me off.
jail. He's caused
Well, there's
countless
no
amounts
Now.
of dollars.
now, yeah. But in fairness, if they just let him just go to Mexico, none of this would have happened.
Yep.
But anyway,
Well, that's also.
He would have gotten shot there.
yeah.
This also is again with the like other missing movies and so on, but like whatever this fucking trial was, and I don't, seems like a nice attorney, but like what the fuck did you
Yeah,
do?
I was going to talk about that
Well,
in a little
we
bit.
do need to talk about
'cause-
that a little later.
Yeah. Anyway, so now Natalie's all like, oh, I don't need to be a billionaire. Like, I don't need to be a billionaire's daughter. I don't need the money. It wouldn't make a difference to me. And Jack is not taking anyone's bullshit. He's like, you shut up. You know you like being a billionaire's daughter. It has its problems, I get it, but as somebody who grew up poor,
Oh yeah.
Like, shut up.
Yeah, it's easy to say I don't care about money when you have tons of it.
So now, let's see here. So we learn that Henry Rollins sees himself as a standard issue street soldier. And when a police officer is seeing
prophet.
himself as a soldier, there's problems.
Yeah, he should have been removed from the force, but
Yeah.
they don't catch that because they know better than to say that to the people who would.
Well, no. And plus, there has been since the '90s a like literal trend towards militarizing the police.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's less of I know not to say that in front of my officers. It's more like a nobody's asking, so whatever.
Well, yeah, I mean that's also part of it. There's
Like I'll tell whoever wants, but
It's
nobody's
not a-
asking.
it's not a single cause issue.
This is before the Battlestar Galactica remake where Adama goes on his police don't make good soldiers and soldiers don't make good police lecture. But
For a minute there, I did not know where that was going.
well,
And I was just like,
If-
what the fuck?
if Galactica was here, this chase would be over.
Well, yeah.
Oh yeah, it'd be
No,
in
but I thought you were
space.
just gonna get more
Yeah.
into like, yeah, this is before they redid Battlestar Galactica, which just turned the country against each other,
Yeah.
and police got crazy.
Oh, you mean like today?
But
So-
I thought he was going to blame it on the remake
Yeah.
of the TV show.
Oh,
It did get pretty dodgy by the end, but not that dodgy.
Yeah.
So anyway, Hammond's attorney calls now. He calls the chief. Chief's like, here's the number, call them. And what do you call it? Oh, no, that doesn't happen yet. The chief gets the call that from the attorney. And the guy's like, Chief, Jack's attorney's on line 1. He's like, why didn't you come get me?
he just did.
Like, fuck
Douchebag.
you.
It's the cliche of just, I gotta be yelling.
Yeah. So,
Where are my pictures of Spider-Man?
so they
Close
now
the fucking door.
they're listening to the news in the car about Natalie being kidnapped and whatnot, and you know it's making Natalie sad. So he's like, I know, we'll change it to Macho Man, and we'll have
Yeah.
a little dance number.
Yeah.
That would have been great.
She took to that real fast and real well. Yeah. It was like a light switch. She was like, "Oh no, I'm having a great time now."
So now
The village people, I will obey.
It does have to be.
So the attorney calls. Jack picks it up, and the attorney's like, "Hey, you know, let's see if we can get another trial. Let's stop this." Jack's like, "Hey, I love you, but I've literally done everything you said, and I went to jail for 25 years. So no,
Was going to go.
yeah, was going to go to jail for 25 years.
Now we're gonna try something different.
Yep.
It's Charlie Sheen.
He no longer trusts the system, which is true of Charlie Sheen.
Well,
Well, they know
and the
still-
system.
Yeah.
So here's a part where I'm like, could we have watched this movie instead? Where we cut to the
Yeah.
Henry Rollins' police car, and they're talking about like the effects of being a cop and like, you know, killing someone, and how Henry Rollins hasn't killed anyone yet, but he's really excited about it. And then the other officer's like, I did.
And it sucks.
It sucks, yeah. And he's like, being a cop, you know, it's like you start seeing people differently. You just being around criminals all the time makes you, you know, just look at everyone the wrong way. And they're just like, yeah, that's nice. On to something else. And I'm
Yeah.
like, can we have heard that? Like,
Yeah, that's
No,
real.
I don't think what's his name, Urkelson.
That was the point.
Yeah.
Is that
Yes.
nobody wants to listen to that. They
Yeah.
want
Yep.
the sensationalized other shit.
Exactly. It's like you don't
Exactly.
want a meaningful message. You want, you know,
Yeah.
another car to flip over and explode.
so this is now when the news gets,
Urkelstein? What was that?
The Hamburglar, yeah.
What? Who are you even talking about?
The director, writer.
Oh, Adam Rifkin.
Okay.
the writer was the Hamburglar. Like someone else was, this was like the first pass of a script and he ran by
I mean,
and
Joe,
snatched it.
what in the script was there besides Robble Robble?
Well, I was going to go, if it was written by a McDonald's character, I think it was written by Grimace.
Oh, Grimace.
But anyway.
That is what I was doing the entire time.
Yeah. So
I was going to say Merriman Cheese.
now the news calls. They got the car's cell phone number, and they're like, "What are you going to do when you run out of gas?" which is not happening in this room. Like, I think 3 different people just farted.
No, that's all it is.
Oh, because I felt one coming from Tony.
Yeah.
So it's
No, I think-
bouncing off the walls.
I think that was 4. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's ventriloquist.
All right, we're not out of gas at the 4 a.m. podcast.
Yeah.
And for once, it's not me.
I think somehow Brick managed to use his ass like a sniper rifle and shoot each one of us in the face.
So, all right. So now
There was a candle.
they're asking about running out of gas. He's like, "There's a fucking woman right next to me in a lot of peril, and all you care about is what I'm going to do when I run out of gas." And he just breaks the car phone.
I'll tell you, I'm gonna fuck her and then kill her. Maybe not in that order.
I mean, I was actually asking or wondering what he was going to do when he ran out of gas too, but like,
So good.
No, it's a BMW versus a bunch of like, what were they? Chevy Crown Vics. Yeah, he's going to run out of gas way after they do.
More important, it's a valid question, but more importantly, I think it's the fact that no one is asking how this girl is. If she's
Yeah.
still
Oh, yeah.
alive.
Yep.
You know, it's
So-
just, what's he gonna do when he runs out of
just
gas?
the question not all of our viewers' minds.
Yeah, you actually got into the car and you don't give a shit about the hostage. Like, you're an asshole.
So we like she's looking more and more impressed by this guy. You know, and we're about to see where this goes when the Red Hot Chili Peppers fucking crash the movie. They show up in this giant ass monster truck thing with like fire on the side.
But
and
at least they don't show up in the soundtrack.
Indeed, and I'm happy for that. The Offspring is playing while they're on their rampage.
Yes, far.
But we got like Terry and Dale as Flea and Anthony Kiedis, and they're going to be heroes. They're going to run this car off the road. They're going to take justice into their own hands.
Absolutely.
I thought it was Will and Dale.
Or Will and Dale, that's right.
Is it?
Yeah.
Tail and
I
Dale.
thought it was
Might
Proud
as well
and
been
Boys.
Chip and Dale.
Brokeback Morons.
All right. So, also at this time, we learned that the SWAT team is setting up a roadblock at the Mexican border.
Was it the SWAT? I thought it was just like a bunch of other.
There were SWAT. There was
everybody.
it was a whole
Oh, it was?
goulash
Okay.
of different cops.
Border Patrol cops.
Yeah,
Which
state
is
police.
a day and a half away. Like, what the fuck is happening?
That's funny because like in the movie, it's like it's 30 miles. I'm like, that's nothing. You're driving like 90 miles an hour. You're gonna get there real quick.
Also, I love that they set the barricade up 10 feet in front of the border.
Yeah, there's no backup plan. if
Yeah,
that
no.
Yeah.
It's just, you know.
Now here's one
Well,
where
it's a movie.
if the movie was made today, it would be totally different because like Border Patrol would be like, there's a guided missile coming his way. Like, you know,
Launch the drones.
yeah, it's
That
like-
would be like we need to shut down the border. Beep.
Yeah.
And it's just like stuff happens and it's shut.
oh. Yeah, so
Well, I mean, I guess it depends on where, because you
And
could
they said
just,
we didn't need a wall.
Yeah, I mean, you could just drive through
we
pasture land.
need one for the sake of Mexico to keep Charlie Sheen from escaping.
That's fair, yeah.
Anyway,
That's where he gets his tiger blood, though.
so
Is that what he's calling it?
at this point, they're talking in the car about how Jack was a clown, you know, was like a birthday party clown he did for extra money. But some other guy robbed a bank in the clown suit and became known as the Red Nose Robber.
Just an A clown. They didn't even say it was the same clown
Yeah.
suit.
And you see, as he's talking about this, Kirsty Swanson sees him as like a clown. And like either she pictures him as a stupid looking clown or like no clown would look like that. And I mean, I know all clowns are stupid looking, but I mean, like, his ears are fucking yellow. Like he just painted his ears yellow. Like,
Hi, John, this is the clown.
yeah, no other clown has ever done that ever. So apparently,
I wouldn't go that far.
yeah.
But
She did say I'm having trouble picturing
Yeah.
you as a clown.
and we see Charlie Sheen's in clown makeup for a second.
And now we can't not.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, you can never unsee Charlie Sheen as a clown.
So we find out this man was convicted to 25 years at San Quentin because he had a clown suit in his house.
Correct.
Well, so the neighbor was the one who
Yeah.
called the that they said.
And-
the neighbor
yeah.
called the cops.
The neighbor
Right.
didn't witness him rob the bank.
No,
Correct.
just knew
I
that he
think-
was a clown.
by the story of this movie, after Red Nose Day, everyone would go to jail for this crime.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, that's their damning evidence. Is he has a fucking red nose?
I mean, that reminds me of that scene from from Vendetta where everybody's wearing the mask. So they're just like, he's innocent.
yeah, except
We'll demonstrate.
At least
how
they
he's
were all
innocent.
wearing the same mask.
Yeah.
which also I don't know if it's
I'm
true.
Jaundice the clown. No, I'm Jaundice the clown.
Yeah.
I believe, again, if this is true, you have to register your clown face.
What?
I think if you went to clown college and stuff, I think you
don't-
do. If you're like an official.
Do you? Okay.
If you're like a birthday
Maybe you're
clown,
just
I
a
don't know if you
part-time
have
birthday
to.
clown.
I know.
Although
I-
maybe after Gacy. Like,
Yeah.
you gotta
I
register.
Yeah.
I never thought about that.
Well,
That's
so
interesting.
it is apparently,
Yeah,
I
no,
believe it
we
is a
started
taboo within the clown industry to have the same makeup as another clown.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that
But
will
I
get
don't know if
like
you have to register.
6 other clowns kicking your ass.
Usually it's a couple of years down the
Silently.
road.
Silently,
before
yes.
you have to
Inside a car.
register your face.
Like a mime will trap you in an invisible box, and then the clowns will kick the shit out
hit
of
you
you.
with their big ass shoes.
Well, but don't get me wrong. I'm not saying like the criminal clown had his face registered. Obviously
Yeah.
not, unless he's an idiot. But like Charlie Sheen probably could have been like, there's pictures of me at this birthday party. This is my clown makeup. This is my costume.
But
Yeah,
here's
I'm
what I
Jaundice
want to
the
know, though.
clown.
All right, so it turns out the red-nosed robber is a different fucking blood type
Yep.
from Jack.
Doesn't matter.
And it was that evidence was
clowns,
collected
Joe. But clowns.
improperly. What? How did that get collected improperly? Like, what went wrong that was not admissible in court?
Did you see the police?
I guess, yeah.
So there's two ways that I could think of. One is if there was contamination, because we only really heard from the defendant's lawyer
Yeah.
saying that.
How did this even go to trial? They had a description of a clown.
Well, yes.
Excuse me,
Aside
was
from
that
that,
tiger blood in there? I don't think so.
Yeah.
two is if it was improperly collected in the sense that they couldn't actually prove after it was removed from the scene of the crime that it came from the scene of the crime.
That's,
Both
got
of
the
those would
impression-
How
be
the
like-
fuck did that happen, though?
It actually, so the guy who was the clerk in the gas station
Yeah.
is also a forensic officer. That's
Okay,
just his
that-
day job. So that's
So-
how that happened.
So a lot of those things with like improper, inadmissible evidence,
Yeah.
and like the fruit of the poisonous tree doctrine and all that, like that's all when you're trying to convict someone. Generally, on the defense side, it like once it's discovered that like his blood type is different from the blood type there, like that's hard not to admit in court.
Right. It's like, oh, well, it's inadmissible, but I mean, that's,
I mean, even if you just shout that in the court and the judge says to the jury, you have to disregard that,
yeah, that's
they're not going to. Like,
but like, okay, so
might get a hung jury.
again, I
Yeah.
ask, how did this go to trial in the first
yeah,
place?
that also, how did.
That's the big,
Yeah.
It's like, okay, presumably, like, we don't know what this guy was about previously, but he presumably had a job or like an alibi for at least one of these
Well, yeah,
bank
that's what
robberies.
Joe
Yeah.
was saying is that he was at a party. So
Right, like, so,
Well, yeah,
No,
that
he
is-
said while he was
watching a baseball
at
game.
home drinking
Oh,
beer and
that's
watching
right.
a baseball game.
Right. but I mean,
yeah.
but still, like,
no, the only evidence that they seem to have is he owns a clown costume.
yeah,
Yeah.
right. And it doesn't even say
Not
that
even
it's the
necessarily
same one.
Yeah. Possibly just the fact that he owns a rubber nose.
Didn't find a gun or anything. Or
As Rob mentioned when we were watching, didn't find the gun, didn't find the money, nothing.
no other
Well,
witnesses.
Yeah.
Another
Not the same
interesting
car?
thing would be you have to be tried by a jury of your peers. So how many of them were clowns?
All of
That's true. Yeah.
And how
Mistrial.
many clowns can you
all.
fit on a jury bench?
You have to have them get out of the jury bench before you can count them.
I don't know.
Just pitching a bunch of actual,
Maybe
like,
he
fucking-
and the robber got the same clown costume from Party City.
Yeah.
didn't see that though.
Okay.
But anyway,
But
So-
like,
I am now picturing like the jury box full of clowns. But he's what is it? Henry, whatever they're from
Rollins.
Ghostbusters 2 is like, I don't care. I want to see burned in hell.
That's it. He's so pissed at the clown jury.
Yeah.
He's seeing everyone as clowns.
so like, they arrested this guy on like insanely circumstantial evidence.
Yep.
Yeah.
How did they like? I don't understand how they held him, how like
So-
the arrest stuck.
I now believe Charlie Sheen when he's like, I don't trust the system at all. 'Cause this
I mean-
shit went
I
really
mean, if there
south
was
real fast.
if there was something where like they had it so her father set it all up so he could be
Yeah.
the fall guy while he did like the crimes or
See, this is where, again, I gotta say, and this is why I pointed it out, you gotta come back with me and remember that early in this movie, we hit a PMS truck and dumped dead bodies all over the highway.
So-
None of this shit matters.
It is one of those things where it's like the movie doesn't happen
Yeah.
if this doesn't happen.
Yeah.
And so I could
only
let this slide.
Not only that, but this is the whole movie
Yeah.
is like satire. We are
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
on the
They
other side of
provided,
being a
yeah,
hot
they
shot.
provided just enough that most American idiots watching this
Yeah.
movie
Yeah.
would accept.
no, I'm a
Well,
different
not
kind
even
of
just
idiot.
accept. It's the idea is.
I don't
want
want to be an American idiot.
This is
That's right.
outrageous that he is
Oh,
arrested for this. He
yeah.
clearly didn't do the thing, but that's
All
where
right,
we're
so-
at.
Either way, it's bullshit.
It's doogie.
Yeah. So
It's chum.
so they're in the middle of talking about that, about how she doesn't picture him as a clown, and then that's when Red Hot Chili Peppers attack. And the Offspring's pumping. They get like one good pass where they miss, and then like Flea immediately loses control, and just like the truck flips
it
over,
flips as SUVs did.
Yep.
in the-
and it's a
mid-90s.
raised SUV,
Yeah,
so it's top heavy as all get out. It flips over, and what you call it? It gets hit by an 18-wheeler. Somehow, no wonder why it flipped over, because that roof is fucking reinforced the shit. If the 18-wheeler didn't immediately just crush the fucking truck.
It's better than the roll cages the Russians put on.
Yeah.
Tanks.
I mean, a legit monster truck, you do build a roll cage into it.
Because you are going to flip that thing over. So
That's
either
one
way,
of its ways of mobility.
this is a legit cool scene because like he had to stop at a traffic jam. The SUV that's hit by an 18-wheeler behind him. The 18-wheeler stepping on the brakes is jackknifing, swinging the trailer around, which has this demented little kid's face on it for some kind of like or an old woman or whatever, but some kind of dairy products.
Quick question though.
Yeah.
If the truck wasn't coming, would he have just waited at that traffic jam for it to clear?
Well, because the cops are behind that, so I presume he wouldn't have. I think because he was looking at the truck behind him, he didn't notice the traffic jam was there. So he throws the BMW in reverse, drives around the traffic jam. Flea and Anthony Kiedis run out of the SUV. The SUV fucking explodes. That truck driver is dead. Like this is like a fucking cataclysmic fireball comes from that truck. Which, you know,
It's like 8 times.
early 90s SUV also probably does explode in a cataclysmic
Canyon
fireball.
Arrow.
It was Toonson.
It was a Canyon Arrow.
It's got a 50-gallon gas tank.
Yeah.
So
Also-
it's basically just a 55-gallon drum of gas.
Like the whole bottom of that truck is just the gas tank.
Also, I believe this was the Blimps company truck. That is essentially Adam Rifkin's version of like the Pizza Planet from
Yep.
Pixar or something. Like it's in all his movies.
So
It was a Michael Bay last.
he drives completely around this traffic jam, but then you see in the back window of the BMW,
Well,
there's no traffic jam as the truck explodes.
he drives around the traffic jam by going into
the other lane.
the wrong oncoming traffic lane.
Or another dimension.
Yeah, but doesn't he go back?
He does eventually
Yeah.
go back over onto the
Yeah, but when you see
Correct.
when he's back there, and if you look through the back mirror, back window, there's no traffic jam.
Well,
Yeah.
the traffic jam cleared up.
But the truck's the truck's immediately behind them.
Yeah.
That is suggesting
Like-
the traffic jam cleared up in the same sense when you go too far in a video game and it just blips out.
yeah, it cleared up.
Clip through it.
Yeah.
Well, there's all of those cars were like, we're not going to be here. They just drove off the road.
Maybe.
But anyway, so, you know, that was a cool explosion. And the traffic copter, he's like, well, those were obviously undercover cops. I guess the police are getting desperate now. And
Very daring maneuver.
Yeah, probably our finest.
so now the news gets Ari, the attorney, on there, and he tells the whole thing about the blood type mismatch and how it's inadmissible. And again, you're like, that's a load of bullshit. But the news is just like, whatever. Like, let's go back to the
Yeah, it
chase.
sounds good.
So at this point, Natalie figures out why she got kidnapped, and she forgives Jack. And Jack's like, here's the gun, and he gives her the Butterfinger. Oh wait, hold on. That doesn't quite happen yet.
Let's keep going.
Yeah.
That's what you see.
Because
He gives her the Butterfinger.
he gives her the Butterfinger, and she, she's like, "You kidnapped me with a Butterfinger," and like, works in a pinch. And then,
and it will cut your mouth.
at this point, some asshole and Ron Jeremy are chained to the side of a car or a van. They fucking drive through a police chase in this cargo van, trying to like interview Miss Voss.
At 90 miles an hour.
The guy's like, Miss Voss! And Ron Jeremy just throws the camera on the ground and smash. Like,
Wouldn't be the first time.
van hits a bump or whatever.
Yeah. Well, first they're like, "Can you give us the thumbs up if you're okay?" And Charlie Sheen just gives
right,
him
gives
the
him-
middle finger.
I'm kind of disappointed she didn't, but I guess it makes more sense.
And I love how they're driving like 90 miles an hour in a cargo van through like, there's all these explosions and people have died, and they're like, "Can we show that on the news?"
Yeah,
But like
that's-
that is actually
yeah.
how
yeah,
the
that is the
freaking
satire. That is
Yeah.
pretty accurate.
Exactly.
And it wouldn't surprise me if they did like take one of their lower level anchors and strap them to the side of a 90 mile an hour van. To
No,
try and get a,
today they have a vehicle that has like a crane so that the news anchor could just go right up to the car window.
door.
It's got steady cam built
Yeah.
into
Yeah,
it.
it's got that like gunner seat that comes out the side door like the turtle van.
And they
Yeah.
are all porn stars.
Yes.
Well, that would be the Naked News with their coverage. All right. So now Carrie Elwes enters the chat. Steve Horse Groovy and his partner Lolly. I don't know what her last name was,
column.
but
His
yeah,
is
Lolly
horse
Column.
gravy and hers is lollipop.
And they're the hardcore news.
Oh yeah.
And this is when you see like the crazy photoshopping of like Natalie behind bars and all that.
with a gag. And
Yeah, this one now she figures out about the Butterfinger. I put a note. I put a note in my notes to talk about which candy bar would make the best gun, but we already did that. So
Bazooka, obviously.
Natalie's like, actually, a roll of Naco wafers. That might work.
No, that
Anyway.
that shit would turn to powder in your
Yeah.
hands while
So-
you're swinging it.
So Natalie's like, my father's already probably scheming about how he could get publicity from this.
And he is.
And it cuts to fucking Dalton Voss here is on the phone scheming by the worst bust of Richard Nixon with just the biggest dick nose.
It's Pinocchio Nixon.
Again, this just reinforced my don't take this shit seriously because that that looks like the Looney Tunes version of Nixon.
And that should be in a police department. So,
it's to remind them not to place illegal wiretaps.
Old dick nose.
yeah, always go over the rules before you do wiretaps.
to remind them not to get caught.
If the president does it, it's not illegal.
Sign a consent form first.
So
It
now
was a job application. Still matters. Still counts.
the Flea and Anthony Kiedis are getting interviewed about their heroics,
Why does your music suck so bad?
and it's like, you can find us at Dale's Dirty Dogs, and then or what?
I'm sure they can.
And the cops just arrest them, and they good. They're out of the movie.
You could ask us about our deeds, our good deeds on Geraldo.
Sally Jesse, all those
Talk
shows
about it. Yeah, all those.
Everybody.
And Flea is just unleashing the full power of his horrible mouth.
Do they both have chipped teeth?
Yeah.
Yes.
They both played hockey.
I think they just smashed their faces
They've-
into one
yeah.
another for pleasure.
They've
to
smashed
kill time.
into a lot of things.
Explains the music.
Like
So
pumpkins.
now Natalie is cleaning Jack's wound. She's got like the alcohol pad out or whatever.
Before he cleans her.
And then she's like, if you're going to go to prison,
Also, yeah, or whatever.
Flushes her gash.
he's like, you don't have a wife, you don't have a girlfriend, you're going to go to prison for life. So I might be this might be the last time you're next to a woman. And he's like, I guess that's correct. And she's just like, and like
Starts eating his
gets
neck.
on it. He's like, yo, we can't do this. And she's like,
Still going
nope,
90.
this
Like-
is
It's
happening.
happening. Yeah.
That spot that you're chewing on right now, that's where you burned me with the cigarette lighter.
He's like, oh, you're serious? Okay. She's like, unbuttons her shirt, like
She's like,
takes
this
the
is
underwear
the
off,
best you'll get.
just climbs on board.
Suck on this, audience.
He's like, well,
All right.
I guess we're doing this.
This is happening.
And
Yeah.
he slips in the second Butterfinger.
And again, like, I'm not gonna fault you. Do what you gotta do, but like, don't put your face in front of his. He's driving.
Yeah, don't. Listeners at home, please do not ever attempt to emulate the behaviors you have seen in this film at all.
Road-
Any of them,
Or the
but
podcast, for that matter.
especially this scene though.
Yeah, Roadhead is one thing.
Yeah.
Road cowgirl.
Even then,
You can hit gypsies. You won't
Yeah.
even know.
Well,
the
none of them are safe by any means, but like at
the
very
airbag
least,
goes
you
off
don't
while
pay
you're getting
attention to that
roadhead.
stuff.
That's
Yeah,
that's
a problem,
bad
too.
for everyone.
It's like a
But
cartoon.
at the very least, if you're gonna have sex while you're driving, get out of the guy's fucking view.
Yeah.
Put your head next to his so he can see over your shoulder. Anyway.
Anyway, so they like fly off in the clouds. They're in another world. This is the only time in the movie where it's not like dirt dirt kind of chase music or punk rock.
It's the sensual banging Christy Swanson suite.
I think they almost hit the car from Greece, right?
We don't get a lot in this scene, but
No.
it's about as good as this can be. Like there's not like this can't really be that sexy when
She is writhing about on his person while Charlie Sheen desperately tries to combat his whiskey dick.
But this is also, this is like, I want this to be as hot as possible for PG-13.
All right.
Daytime television.
Yeah.
Let me get out the old calculator here.
Ruh-roh.
Uh-oh.
Because here's one thing I noticed
count
while
your
that was
dick.
happening. I'm going to count my dick or cock. All right.
Unfortunately, I never made it without biting.
What the hell is happening?
So they're driving 95 miles an hour, but for the ease of math, let's call it 90 miles an hour, right? So
Is 100 because while they're doing this, they get to 100. It
okay,
shows that.
all right. Then let's call it 100 miles an hour.
Is this
right?
like the, if one vehicle is traveling south on...
I think it might
I-
be.
Yeah. So, all right. 100 divided by 60. So they're going 1.6 miles, 66666 repeating miles every minute. And it was 10 miles to the border. So at maximum, they did it for 6 minutes and 25 seconds.
Well,
So
So basically,
Fucking,
no, but I
he's-
think what Joe's trying to say is that basically that scene from Superman where he flies around the world so many times.
yeah, he drove that car so fast that time rewound.
Stop.
I mean, either that or he just immediately after what we saw, he just nutted right there and then
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we did establish he hasn't been with a woman
Yeah.
in
And
a
that's
few
when-
years.
And that's when old Ronnie
That would
stepped
also
in.
be one of the safest ways to resolve that scenario. You'd be like, I'm done. I can't.
just immediately blow it
Yeah.
out.
And you're like, okay, now I can go back driving.
Yeah.
Ron Jeremy's like, I got
Be like,
this.
I'm good, thank you. Go back over there and let me see the road. So
Get my Tom Cruise control back.
yeah. So they of course were being intimate while the sun was setting. So
Of
now
course.
it's completely dark and I'm like, it's 6 minutes till you get to the border. Like it's literally taking longer in the movie than this would in real life.
Also, driving south, the sun stays up longer.
Yeah, we have an hour and a half movie for what should
Yeah.
have taken
again,
30 to 40 minutes.
you're like 2 clicks away from him using a crossbow to fire a chicken at some
Yeah.
chef. Don't take this that serious, Joe. Just
So-
don't.
We haven't even gotten to the part where Sandra Bullock comes in with
Yeah.
the bus.
So now, we've already done that movie. Natalie,
Both of them.
full Stockholm syndrome is set in. She's like,
yeah.
I want to be a fugitive with you. I don't want to be a billionaire's daughter anymore.
It's not
you know,
Stockholm syndrome. It's Stockholm syndrome.
so Charlie Sheen's like, are you serious? And then that's when they arrive at the roadblocks. They're like, why are there no other cars on the road? And
Finally.
I like this roadblock had no backup. There was no like box him in. There was like, it's not like V-shaped or anything. It's just a line, and a very narrow line, just the width of the road. So he slammed on the brakes.
10 feet in
But
front
they
of the
did
border.
have 2 bulldozers.
Yep. And just backed up.
Yeah.
and that was it. And they're like, we didn't think of that.
Well, there was some kind of situation for some of that. Because if the cops that were chasing them
Yeah.
did proceed further and get there soon enough, they would have kind of boxed them in.
But typically you'd want people in like
Oh, yeah.
some of those cars just to do that right
Oh,
there.
yeah, it's still a terrible plan
Yeah.
because if they, paid any attention and saw this coming ahead,
Yep.
they could have easily just veered off the road and got to where they end
Mm-hmm.
up going anyway.
Well, not to mention, like, as soon as the car stops, you put caltrops behind it.
Yeah.
Or
Well, yeah.
they would have put down
Yeah.
spike strips.
Yeah.
And,
A stinger. So either
Of
way,
course, they would have done that miles.
Yeah.
back.
Well, I mean, you don't want to do it while they're 90 because then you can't control where they're going to go
Yeah.
necessarily. You definitely don't want to do it when they're
Well,
about to
They're
slam on
gonna
the
go
brakes.
Well,
there you go.
yeah.
I would agree.
They're
That
going
that's
to end up in Betty.
I would agree that's a valid point, but once you start trying to take them out with a shotgun, I think that's when it starts to work.
Yes,
So,
I
way-
I forgot we're in.
Yeah. Nonsense world. Don't worry about it.
Yep.
He crashes through the El Jabaro billboard and just goes off road. And the cops are like, damn, we spent a lot of time building this roadblock. And so they start chasing him, and he's leading them in a fucking circle. Like
In
also,
an oil field.
yeah, this was filmed in Houston, so there's
Sure.
the oil field, the famous LA oil fields. So he's leading them around those. And the police are,
San Diego.
the 2 moms, because Natalie has a stepmom and her real mom, and her mom's arm candy boyfriend, and the police chief are watching this chase through this little like portable TV shitty thing.
Had one of those.
Sony product placement.
Yeah, the
Yep.
feed cuts out. Not a good Sony
No.
product placement to Planet of the Apes. The beefy guy is just like monkeys. They slap him, and then it goes back to the chase. You're like, I guess we got to fill 90 minutes somehow. So now they're going in a circle, and he's like, all right, Natalie, for real, like, you want to just become fugitive for me? You're going to give up all that money? You're going to give up the whole rest of your life to run away with me?
Give up being a non-fugitive.
And she's like, yeah. And he's like, fuck that. Just slams on the brakes. And he's
the car
like,
in park.
I'll go to jail because I can't have ruining your life on my conscience. So
Just the
now
lives of all those people I killed earlier.
the cops surround him for
Not
no.
on purpose.
I'm guessing the news copter was just running low at fuel at this point because they're just like, let's land this for whatever reason.
Well, they wanted to get a close-up.
So yeah, that happens. Jack, he's like, look, I can't ruin your life. Here, take the gun. He puts it in a purse. He has her get out of the car. Apparently, he had matches this whole fucking time because he lights
He had a lighter.
cigarette.
Was it a light?
Yeah, it was a flip
Oh,
top lighter.
okay. Yeah, he just got that now. I guess he didn't want to
he was
dig in his
sitting on it,
pockets.
But they made a whole point when she threw the
Now
cigarette
home,
lighter
gotta
out
smoke.
about how he doesn't have a way of smoking.
I guess he didn't want to dig in his back pockets while he was driving.
Oh, the fucking's cool.
It's
That wasn't
hard
his
when,
idea.
when as Christy Swanson
Well, wait.
just climbs on you.
Hold
I
on.
would do it.
Hold
I
on,
would do it.
hold on.
Don't get me wrong.
Wait. We do find out this was a dream sequence.
This is a dream. Then.
Well, okay, this part, yeah. With
Oh, yeah.
that is true. Yep.
wait, yeah.
Good point. Good point. Because he gets out of the car,
He's got to look cool smoking
And-
the cigarette.
we're getting the dramatic music, and he pulls out his nothing. Like he acts like he has a gun for whatever reason,
I did that with a goose.
Yeah, this
all-
was death by
He
cop.
commits
Yep.
suicide by cop. Yeah.
and all the cops shoot him. They shoot the like Evil Dead black tar out
I'm
of him.
sorry, he unalived himself.
He
He
unalived
Minecrafted
himself.
himself.
So
That's the new term all the cool kids are using.
So it cuts back to, he's back in the car. And he's like, yeah, that's a terrible idea. How about I just get out and put my hands up?
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, movie. Pointless fake out, but sure. We'll
Not
go
as
with that.
Twilight, but-
Yeah. So
It's fun to watch it happen.
he just gives up, and Henry Rollins is like, "Oh, you thought I was an asshole before." He like gets all up on him, slaps the cuffs on him, talking about how he's going to get raped in jail, and
Just give me an excuse. I'd love to kill you.
I'd love to
Yep.
rape you in jail.
and then
What you saying on newscam?
Oh
yeah, right on the camera. And then Dalton Voss arrives via the police chopper. Just walks over. I forget what Jack says to him. Like something like "You have a nice daughter" or something.
Yeah, it was your daughter's a
Fine young lady.
yeah.
or
I
something
never
like
heard her. Or no, he says, "I'm sorry this had to happen. Your daughter's a fine
Bitch
young
slap!
lady.
Young lady
Yeah.
or whatever. Yeah.
And then he walks over and he's like, instead of
fine
kind of,
young cannibal."
he's like, "Are you okay?" to his daughter, but he's really like, "All right, you're okay. Shut up."
that. How could you do this to me?
Well,
Yeah.
she's like, he's innocent. He's like, "Not now. Go to your room, 20-year-old."
Exactly.
Meanwhile, they're back over at the car. Like Rollins is like humping up on Jack. He's like, "Oh, you know what they do to you in prison?"
Yeah, they're
What I'm about to do to you
they're
here.
laughing at him for getting slapped. They're kind of like, man,
Yeah.
I know him a little. whatever.
Because just tell me, what do you do in prison?
So Natalie's like,
Nice.
not now. Pulls the gun out of her purse, takes the camera, the journalist hostage. The journalist is like, the whole time he's like, "Get the camera on me. This is going to be amazing." And then, they're like, "You're just confused. It's confusing. We're all confused." And she pulls the gun out and one shot blows up the fucking police helicopter.
So don't yuck my yum.
Again.
Yeah.
I'm in charge.
Hey,
Yeah, we don't do that.
a rule about that shit around here, sir.
Which you violated like 10 times after you formed it.
But again, this is Rifkin saying, "You didn't like my my
Attempt at
better
well-written.
movie that had a story and a message. So here's the drivel that you want."
Yep.
If I put the crayon in my nose, then I can just take a nap and it writes itself.
Exactly.
They take the traffic copter, kidnap the pilot, I guess, and just fly away. And
Mexico.
they fly to Mexico. It's not, I
Not
guess,
that far.
San Diego doesn't bother to call the federales and be like, "Yo, could you extradite this dude?"
Yeah.
He's flying a helicopter. I mean, like I said before, if this was today, like a surface-to-air missile would have just shot that copter down.
So interestingly enough, they took the pilot hostage.
Yep.
So they still had the if you do that, you
Oh.
will be killing
Yeah,
somebody.
at this point, they're like,
They would have,
well,
yeah,
whatever.
because it's in airspace.
He
That's
doesn't-
a
yeah.
escalation of shit.
Who knows what they could do while they're up there.
Yeah,
So now
each other.
it cuts to they're on a beach with a mariachi band. Charlie Sheen has a mustache again. And you're just like, happily ever after, I guess?
I guess they got the money somehow. I have no
yeah.
idea why.
Yeah, somehow.
They sold the helicopter
Yeah,
Yeah,
to the
drug
cartel.
to the cartel, yeah.
There you go.
and that's why the federales were
And
like,
that's
nah.
how Cocaine Bear
That's
happened.
right.
Yeah,
That's why we don't see the pilot again.
So-
He got sold with it.
and it just cuts to, that's the movie. It cuts to a really bad Henry Rollins song. And then, we get some, because the soundtrack is all punk rock. So, we got 5 songs during the credits. But at the very end, we get a little stinger where Charlie Sheen's in the clown makeup doing the speech from the Colonel in Apocalypse Now. Or that wasn't the Colonel, but the crazy guy at the beginning, Apocalypse Now.
Love the
That's
smell of
what that
napalm.
was. I had no idea
Yeah,
what he was
he's-
talking about.
He's just talking about how, they cleared an entire hill in Vietnam of Viet Cong by napalming the whole hill. And he's like, "Smelled like gasoline, smelled like victory."
This was, you guys were saying outtakes, and I'm sure kind of, but I guarantee this was also, I spent a half hour in the makeup chair
Yeah.
for 5 seconds of.
My ears are yellow.
Yeah, no, we're fucking doing more. We're filming whatever the fuck I want with this.
And it cuts out with that Looney Tunes kind of wipe where it the circle closes in on the center screen, and that's it.
That's the night
Chase.
Tony,
Yeah.
we watched a thing.
We did. So, yeah, believe it or not, this movie was somewhat successful when it was in theaters. We already just took the amount, which I know is low, but again, we don't know how much the budget was, but I imagine fairly cheap.
They blew up a helicopter.
They drove for
Up
a
to
long
helicopters.
time.
They trashed a lot of police cars.
And a
Which
truck.
one? It's Blues Brothers has the record for trashing.
Yeah, I think so. But anyway, you know, this might be like a cult following. I don't know, but like anyway, according to RottenTomatoes.com, currently it's sitting at critics giving it a 40%, audience giving it a 37%.
Wow.
That's their thoughts and opinions. What about you and yours? Let's go to Brick.
So I have a fine art degree, and I would definitely consider this like a commentary movie. So I felt like it was actually legitimate. I understood what it was trying to say, and kind of feel like it portrayed it pretty straightforwardly. There were plenty of parts where I was laughing. You know, I would recommend watching it. I kind of wouldn't recommend watching it more than once, because once you get the message, it's like, okay, I got the message, and then you don't need to see anything else. Entertainment value wise, there's not really
The PMS truck I'd watch again.
well, yeah. I mean, outtakes, or well, not outtakes, but clips. Yeah, it's referenceable. But yeah, I thought it was good. Rating, I would give it like a B minus. Yeah.
Okay. John.
I think I'm pretty much the opposite of what you'd expect. Where when I first saw this, 94, so I must have seen it probably around 96-ish, I would think. So I was like 16. I didn't really like it that much because I typically don't give a shit about car chases. You know, Christy Swanson obviously, you know, gives you a nice 16-year-old chub. But
To this
overall,
Like a 16-year
yeah,
chub.
a 16-year chub. Yeah, yeah.
Say that quote for there.
But but overall, I was like, what the fuck did I just watch? This was stupid. And now I actually appreciate it more as an adult. You know, understand some of the, you know, commentary that was being made. I definitely wouldn't just sit down to watch this by myself, even just to put it on in the background. But watching it with other people, it was enjoyable. So I'd give it a light recommend.
Okay. Keep going with Joe.
Yeah, it's getting the light recommend for me. It's I give it about a C minus. It's like it's not a good movie by any means, but it's definitely not an F. I think everyone involved did a decent enough job. When I was a kid, I loved the soundtrack to this movie. Now I'm like, I don't know why I did, but I still have a soft spot for NoFX's Can't Please Play the Song on the Radio. But anyway, like it had some fun parts to it. I don't think I'll be watching it again anytime soon, but I think this is a good like background movie. And it's other than the part with the blood evidence, and like the whole how he got convicted, nothing in this movie like insulted my intelligence too badly where I couldn't just be like, all right, whatever. It's, you know, we're just being silly right now. So yeah, not a great movie by any means, but it's a safe, passable movie.
Rob.
Oh, heavens to Murgatroyd. Yeah, no, 40% is probably right around where I'd agree. It certainly is a movie of all time. Yeah, whatever. Light recommend. I don't want to see this movie again.
No, but you were laughing. Good enough.
Yeah,
while
I
you
was
were watching
laughing,
it.
but that's.
I would say though,
I'd help.
if you want the social satire, RoboCop did it a lot better. And if you want a chase, just watch Fury Road. Like it's made,
Well,
that's rendered most chase movies irrelevant at this point. But
yeah, I would, you know, I pretty much agree with most of the group here. Light recommend. Like, I, again, didn't make a huge impact on me whenever I saw it ages ago. I'm sure because all that satire stuff flew right over my head because I was too young or whatever. But I do appreciate it now, and even seeing it a second time, I caught even more of those kind of things. Like I mentioned while watching this, the how the news stations got increasingly like more insane in their names and so on, and so I appreciate it a little more. You certainly could have it as a background movie, or just watch it once and kind of get the idea for it. Although again, as Joe pointed out, there are better examples of that out there now and stuff. But overall, yeah, it's not offensive. Everything there's tons of things that are really stupid, but they're all intentionally stupid. So I don't know if this would have served better if they went more like Hot Shot style and made it more over the top, but. It's fine.
I bet the budget would allow for that.
Certainly not. But yeah, so overall, this is a late recommend from us.
I'm going to go ahead and guess that this is the best that the writer-director could do.
Depends on who you talk to, I guess. Some say Detroit Rock City, others say The Dark Backward. So...
I don't listen to perverts.
Some might say Mouse Hunt. Anyway...
I don't listen to perverts.
What?
Just thought of an interesting question.
Why? I mean, it's
All right, if you had to do this movie, right, but you had to put two other people in the car in the back seat from 1994
with
era,
them.
who are you putting in there?
In the back seat with them?
Yeah,
Pauly Shore.
Pauly Shore.
Oh God, damn.
Is he getting thrown from the vehicle at some
Oh,
point?
that'd be great.
He probably multiple times he finds his way finds his way back in. Like we'll say like his bodyboard's in the trunk and he's like still attached to it at the ankle.
Okay.
So maybe that kind of
Gotcha.
a deal.
And
I mean,
dealer's choice on a Baldwin.
yeah, I think like at that point I would need I'd need somebody in there that can like save Christy Swanson, so maybe a Brendan Fraser in there as well. Like he and
like
Christy
an Encino Man.
yeah, like the two of them end
backfield.
up together at the end.
Also, this is like the weirdest sequel to Ferris Bueller's Day Off I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know who I would put in there. I was just thinking about like there should have been someone in the back seat.
Jay and Silent Bob.
See, it's too early.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Like I was thinking more like a
Well, Clerks might have been 94. I'm not sure.
no.
The Mallrats was 97, so Clerks I think was
Okay.
96.
Maybe, okay.
What year was Jurassic Park?
93.
Okay, so Jeff Goldblum.
Oh, Goldblum, yeah.
Yeah, and
You could get a Goldblum.
I took a nap in your BMW, and I noticed
In
we
the
are
trunk.
driving really
like
fast.
A Jason Alexander
and why are we in this
In a walk-
car?
Oh, no. Let's not do that.
Yes,
Both of
and
them
walking.
independently chose to take a nap in the car and wake up at different points in the film.
Wait, that's like the strangest like live action version of those two critic Muppets that I've ever heard.
That's well. I also
Want to see this movie?
I had an idea. Like, there's Seinfeld did like a thing on Netflix where like he picks up other
Oh
celebrities.
yeah, go get coffee.
and drive. Yeah, get coffee and drive around. I was like, I want that to be just Goldblum and Walken and a straight man. Like,
Well, someone else would have to be driving them because they're not going to go anywhere.
yeah, no, they're in the back seat,
Yeah,
and it's like the straight guy comedy.
How about Don
is
Rickles?
is the driver?
Don Rickles' corpse.
No. It's
Like,
got to
this
be.
modern day.
This is
Oh,
94.
94.
Isn't
Don
it?
Rickles would be around. Yeah.
Be kicking.
It's got to be somebody who has a sense of humor, but has the gravitas to keep them in check, so that it's just not complete insanity.
Sir, I noticed the woman is climbing on top of you while you are operating a moving vehicle. Wow!
Nature finds a way. Let him get it.
Would you like me to take the wheel?
What about this
That's
twist?
Uh-huh.
They're not
Can I hold
actually
your
in the
watch?
back seat. They're like the angel and the demon on Jack's
Oh,
shoulder.
yeah, that could... That could be something.
Yeah, Christopher Walken and
Yeah.
Goldblum. So
That
Goldblum
I'm
is like, he's
Yeah.
pretending to be the lawyer, and Walken is just like, no, come to Tijuana. We got margaritas.
They need velvet pajamas.
I also like
Or
the
satin.
scenario you just said. Goldblum is dressed vaguely like the lawyer.
Yeah.
Christopher Walken's just dressed like a devil.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just ready to go.
Which
Yeah.
lawyer?
No, Jack's lawyer, I would assume.
Yeah,
Oh, okay,
yeah.
all right.
Yeah.
So we're swapping the role. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, okay.
But he's also
Yeah,
like
it's
his
just
conscience.
his conscious view of kind of the lawyer is this good side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then a devil. Just a,
Yeah.
Sure.
All right.
All right, we have our answer. Glad we workshopped this. Let's move on to the next
So
segment.
where
I think we were done.
okay.
You're about to take us home, Rob.
Next segment is we're done. We got to roll for the next episode. Who rolled last
I think we
time?
skipped Tony last time,
I
and we
think I
gave
rolled
Brick the roll.
Brick?
So I
Okay.
think it's Tony time.
Tony, do you want the D20 of fate or do you want the D20 of doom?
We have a new D20, guys. It's gold.
Got some red
Can
numbers.
Can you
I almost called
roll
them letters.
both and then take the best one?
No, you don't get
No.
advantage on the D20
Oh,
roll.
I like the sound of that.
If
though. We
anything,
should
it'd be
put that
the
in
worst
somewhere.
Could
one.
do
Yeah,
a thing.
This is out. Let's do it. It's me rolling a dice of
Oh, I
doom.
forgot those
On a
cookies
lazy
were there.
Susan.
Shit.
We'll see how.
14.
That's pretty high.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean shit.
It's the Sandlot.
Oh, okay.
We haven't done that already.
No, we have not.
Jeez.
You're killing me, Smalls. I don't know why I did that with a walk-in,
Yes, you
but I did.
because like,
Everything is better with a walker.
like the film, I've seen children die.
Is that Chew? Wow!
Barf on the roller coaster. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Dad, that was a baseball.
Unfortunately, I think we're gonna have exhausted all of the fun parts of the movie by the time we leave this table tonight.
Yes. I think we already know. Anyway.
Guys, thank you so much for listening. We'll be back with the Sandlot.
After today.
Say goodbye, everybody.
Adios.
You'll never catch me, Copper.
Napalm. Smells like crap.
Good night.
Hey everybody, thanks so much for listening. If you enjoyed the episode, please subscribe, and if possible, leave a review. If you have questions, comments, or would like to sponsor an episode, email us at the4ampodcast@gmail.com. And if you want to support the show, you can buy a t-shirt, hoodie, and more at Teespring. Or gain access to exclusive content by becoming a patron at patreon.com/4ampodcast. Thanks again for listening. See you next time.